Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will go over the gravel companies that I went to because I wanted to build a prototype, and I will go over an interesting case of meeting a businessman. So first of all, I went to a giant company which is in Poznań, and it's centered around mining. It does mining operations throughout the Wielkopolska region, and it was very old. The thing is, I went there, I told the receptionist who I am and what I'm doing, and that I don't want to sell anything. She went to the office and asked for the director, and he let me in. He was an old man, and he sat behind a computer screen and listened to my questions. What's interesting is when I asked about trying to ask about kruszywa or crushed stone bits, he said he can let me down to his colleague, but I told him I will first ask the questions and he will tell me whether he can't answer them well or not. Paraphrasing, of course. What's interesting is that when I asked him the three questions, he he said after each question, next question, and upon me saying the third one, which was, can I build a prototype of an X of something that would replace your Excel sheets? He said that um, they are already collaborating with a company called Agrobex, and that I thought that's strange. They built buildings, but he said about Agrobex Info. They have been collaborating with them for 30 years and have no problems with communicating from their office to the mines scattered throughout Wielkopolska. So that is just how durable a vertical market software company really is. If you manage to get a client, chances are that if they don't go bankrupt, they will stay with you for a lifetime, because why would they switch? With that, I left to a different one. I went to a company that makes concrete as well as uh, dirt and gravel and transports it to the client. And there was some complications with the office. I thought it was at one location because it was registered in it, but when I went there, it looked like a auto repair shop, but it was their companies, like for their trucks, I think. So I asked someone there, where's the office? I'm looking for someone that is organizing this. He was a Ukrainian, so he didn't speak a lot, but he brought me to a man, and he looked at me and he told me about the white office building that is on a different road, and then I remember that that is what I saw. I expressed my views on their company being registered there and this, and the confusion. But okay, I went there and I explained to the receptionist what I'm doing, and she went to a room and told me to walk in. There was a woman behind the desk, and as I later found out, that was the company owner. So I explained the whole situation to her. I explained what I'm doing, that I want to save money for different companies. And after I asked her the questions, I got to know that they do everything by hand, even though some I think is also a massive company, but they are a sole proprietor like, a solo person. It's not a corporation, so I can't see their revenue on the internet. So I don't know their size, but they have a large operation. So I guess at least a few million a year, zlotys per year, definitely. So when I talked to her, they use no computer. Well, she told me they use no programs, even when I asked about Excel. But I don't know whether she meant no Excel, because that seems really unlikely. But she said they do everything by hand, so I think that's probably true. Um, and when I asked her whether she would be open to testing a prototype that would replace their calculations, she said yes. I was surprised. I didn't know what to say. And the thing is that she told me if I create something, they can test it. But the thing is, I told her that I came here to ask about their problems and solve that specific problem. But she said that right now everything works and she doesn't know what even a solution would be good to have been created. And the thing is, I told her about my idea for this. There was this kind of a little slip of paper that the drivers in this gravel industry get. It's called a VZ, or a wydanie zewnętrzne, or an external issue. So on this you have the vehicle license plate, how many tons of a certain material it took, for which company and when. And the thing is, sometimes these pieces of paper get lost in the driver's cabin. And the thing is, at the end of the month, the customer can't invoice that. Sorry, the company can't invoice that customer because they have no proof they took that, and that is an issue. They can lose thousands of PLN in that process. So, you know, now that I think of it, I could have asked her about what sort of calculations you do, which I could automate. Upon further discussion with an AI, we came to a conclusion that it's not a tech mature business. But it's massive, so they must have some inefficiencies. The woman wished me luck, and she said it's good that I'm trying to help other businesses. The thing is, though, that I left her my letter, um, because why not? She said that if she will keep it, and that if she ever has an idea, she will let me know. So, on one hand, good. On another, okay. Like, it's not a potential near future client. They might have some problems, but for now, no, I will just keep going. But I will keep it in my notebook. Of course, I will remember about them. I will pick up any phone calls or emails. Not a problem. I went then to the next company down the road, and it was a company which was involved in gravel sorting. So I think it's the kind of a company which takes out different pieces from the ground and then sorts them based on the size of them. For example, 6 millimeter, 8, 12, and they just have those giant piles of rocks on their land. And the thing is, I got a lot of information there. For the first question, which was about their most amount of time spent on data transferring, or like, sorry, not transferring, but input. I'm translating directly from Polish, so it might take a bit. Um, and the man with whom I talked to said that their cars, I think trucks he meant, are connected to a GPS system, so they see the time of of the workers working, and that's handled by an external company. They pay a abonnement, so you can say a subscription, but it's like, like for your phone. I don't know how to say it in English. The loading of the product happens after uh, they give out the VZ, so the external issue document, and on that base they give out their uh, product to the customer, because the customer can't drive to this gravel sorter themselves, or they can give it to their drivers, because the drivers can go directly to the client, so that is a transport cost. They handle the external issues uh, by hand, although the man said that they also do it they have the option to do it electronically. They do it for concrete. Yes, yes, for concrete. But like, when I asked him why they do it like that, he said he got used to it. Okay. For the second question, which was about whether they use Excel to track the profitability of that or something like that. He said that they have an Excel sheet which they use to create the cost that they have to um, give to the client. So based on that Excel sheet, they create the invoices. That is what I have concluded. When asked whether they would like me to build them an Excel, a prototype which would replace their Excel, he said, yeah, why not? There's also this funny situation. It's a bit unusual, but when I came in there, uh, it was very like funny atmosphere, because like I went to this reception and I told the woman there that I'm looking for the boss or someone who is running the logistics, because I'm doing a project that is meant to save companies money, and that I'm from a technical school, and it's not something they would need to pay for. And the man comes out of a right door, and the woman starts laughing. So he gets out, he starts walking somewhere, like, he said that they're all in a rush here, that he's already arranged for a meeting, but he can talk to me, and he did. He was eating a tomato during that. A bit unusual, but just chill out. It was uh, a good conversation with an honest man. So eventually, when I got home, I looked at my notes, I started thinking, then I put this all into an AI, because look, I can't talk to anyone like who would be my mentor about it, because my father, well, he can say something about it, but like, he isn't a software developer. He's an architect, so he doesn't understand a lot of what I'm doing. You know, maybe you guys can explain. I'm like, it's not easy to think of what to create for that prototype. But my AI said, oh, create an input for their external issue documents, which they already will have, because let them use their methods of creating those external issue documents. Don't change that, but instead, when they change the method of calculation, because that's where the pain is. They can make mistakes in an Excel sheet, but your software is going to save them money because they can directly select the client from the database and say something, calculate the costs, directly input maybe the number of hours that their drivers spend, the cost of fuel, the driver's route, or something like that. I don't know. I will need to think of it, but I have a few days to do it. And the AI also told me that I shouldn't wait for them to call me, but that I should directly go there with my prototype and show it to them and explain that I can change something around. Because if the boss agreed to test, well, I should test. I shouldn't wait for them to contact me. And I will do that, although I will need to take my iPad and not my father's laptop because it's running Windows 7, so Next.js won't run there. That is one thing. So I will upload it to either my own server or maybe use Vercel. I will think about this. Also, in the middle of that, I have my school project being showcased, this thing. I will need to explain what it is. I will post on my Substack how I built it. I think that may get me some interest in a technical school because teachers might be interested in how it was built, or anyone just, other than that, I went to the second last company. Sorry. In the after those three questions, I then said I wasn't prepared for a yes. So what do we do now? And the man said, like, maybe I can leave something here, like something like that. He said, because I mentioned maybe you want to have a meeting. And I said, okay, I will leave you a letter. And I left him a letter with the questions, with my email, with my phone number. Maybe they will call, maybe not, but I will try to build something and then show it to them. And if they like it and it saves them money, then I will talk about trying to build them something. And when that is done, that's good. Then the next one, because my goal is to have at least one, just one client that will pay me 2000 PLN per month for using my software. I didn't mention this, but I have already went to the cardboard companies on June 1st, and I haven't been doing a video about that because it's rolling, sorry, it's currently being done. I got a potential maybe client because they thought it was a school project, but they want an exclusive license, so it's like I don't know how I will figure this out. But for now, I will record a separate video on the cardboard companies. I'm just wanting to know how the situation ends. But for the cardboard ones, I did it today, so that's why I posted it, this video here. The last company, sorry, the second last. It was very near the second company I visited. So I went there I went to the reception, explained who I am. And the thing is, the boss was in a dark van and he had a cigarette. And you know, the woman came there and told him about me. She then came back and said, the boss wants to talk, but right now he had to go somewhere. And it's also better to contact us at 9 a.m. Maybe call because we have a kocho, or like, you know, you can say a traffic jam or something like that. I don't know how to explain it in English, but it's the term used that there, you know, oh, we have a chaos. So uh, they won't try to call me, maybe, or maybe they will. I will need to call them first, but of course, first I will be focused on the company with the man who ate the tomato. I will create a prototype for them first. I will go to this area on Friday or Thursday with my father because he can drive me there, because driving 1 hour there by my bike and then back 1 hour is a waste of time. And when that happens, we'll see what will be next. Then I went to the last company. Because sorry, at the second last company, I left the letter and I went to the last company, which was centered around the transportation of materials, and they are a middleman, you know. But it was a small location and it was a private home, really. So when I rang the doorbell, I heard a barking and no one came. So I shoved the letter in the letterbox so it was visible, and just went home, you know. But an interesting thing was that when I was chaining my bike to some metal pipe, there was someone driving out. A woman in a black car was driving out of this house. Maybe that was the man's wife. I don't know. But I didn't try to ask her anything, so I also didn't know that the house would be left alone. Except for the dog, of course. So I just went here to my house and I will need to think of something how to create this prototype, but I will do it. I will tell you about the progress of that in a later video. Until then, take care and remember, you can also try this. I'm not a genius. I'm just stubborn, you know. I just created some scripts using an AI and wanted to be prepared for different scenarios. Of course, if there's nothing that I can respond to, well, I will need to make up something. But for some reason, it now makes me more excited than analyzing a company's financials. For example, today I only analyzed 19 minutes of a company and I already have enough. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's not for me, but I will still write articles about stocks because it is something I enjoy doing. But recently it started to get boring for me. Okay, guys, thank you very much for your attention. If you have any ideas, let me know now in the comment section below. Bye.